Hello, and welcome to this module on the circular economy in cities. In this session, we'll look at what the circular economy means, why it matters for cities, and what local governments can do to make the transition. My name is Leah Laser, and I am a circular economy expert at ICLEI Europe. ICLEI is a network of more than 2,500 local governments around the world committed to advancing sustainable urban development. Our European Secretariat is based in Freiburg, Germany, and works with more than 160 members over 30 countries. Through our initiatives, we help cities move toward low-emission, nature-based, equitable, resilient, and circular development. Over the next 15 minutes, we will review key concepts, benefits, and examples from European cities that are already applying circular principles in practice. Let's begin with why we need the circular economy. The way our societies produce, consume, and discard materials has reached a scale that the planet cannot sustain. We can think of this as the linear economy, where products are made, used, and thrown away. The linear economy drives about half of global greenhouse gas emissions and most biodiversity loss. Global resource extraction now exceeds more than 100 billion tons per year, over 12 tons for every person on Earth. This has doubled since 2000 and could nearly double again by 2060. In Europe alone, we generate more than 2 billion tons of waste each year, and while recycling and composting are improving, nearly one-fifth of waste still ends up in landfills. Our challenge is to replace this take, make, dispose model with systems that keep materials and products in use longer and regenerate natural systems. So what is the circular economy? In a circular economy, the value and utility of products, materials, water, energy, and nutrients are maintained for as long as possible. It's about designing out waste and pollution, keeping materials in use, and regenerating natural systems instead of depleting them, as shown in this graphic. What does this mean in practice? It entails rethinking how goods are made, used, and managed at every stage of their life cycle. Products are designed for durability, repair, and reuse. Waste from one process becomes an input for another. Biological materials safely return to the environment, while technical materials, like metal and plastic, circulate within the economy through recovery and remanufacturing. A well-functioning circular system reduces pressure on resources while still supporting economic activity and well-being. And cities are central to this effort. Cities account for roughly two-thirds of global energy demand and up to 80% of greenhouse gas emissions, half of all waste and pollution, and three-quarters of resource consumption. By 2050, we estimate that 85% of Europe's population will live in urban areas. So cities are key to both the problem and the solution. Urban areas are concentrations of resources, skills, and innovation. They bring together governments, businesses, researchers, and communities who can collaborate to redesign systems, test new approaches, and scale successful ones. The circular economy gives cities the chance to turn these concentrations into strengths, and they also benefit from it. Cities would enjoy reduced environmental impacts like lower emissions, less waste, and less resource extraction. They can create jobs through repair, reuse, and recycling industries. They would they can strengthen their resilience by reducing dependence on fragile global supply chains, and they can increase fairness through shared and inclusive local economies. It would also give cities peace of mind about compliance with potential future European environmental legislation. So what can cities actually do to transition to a circular economy? This framework for circular city action outlines 5 main policy areas. Mobilize, which means setting the direction and building momentum, such as through strategies and tracking progress. Educate, including increasing awareness and building necessary skills and knowledge, including through research and innovation like partnerships. Manage, which involves influencing the use and function of physical and material elements within the urban environment. So this can include spatial planning, waste management, more efficient management of public assets, and public procurement policies, as I'll discuss later. Incentivize means sending market signals and support to businesses, citizens, and governments to promote activities in line with the circular economy. and regulate, which means changing the rules of systems to achieve compliance through enforcement. In the following slides, you will see examples from European cities applying these instruments in practice, from Prado's circular city strategy to Glasgow's stakeholder collaboration and Malmö's monitoring tools. Each action area illustrates how cities can turn circular concepts into concrete action. I will briefly highlight each action area, and then you can come back to read this slide deck again to explore the case studies that I'll show now. So the first area of action is strategic direction. Cities can set clear goals through dedicated circular economy strategies developed with broad participation and the integration of circular economy within strategies in other sectors such as transportation, as well as climate, energy, and waste. Cities can create spaces for collaboration among government, business, academia, and citizens. They can develop indicators to track progress and connect their results with policy objectives, like in the example from Malmö here. They can raise awareness through education and communication campaigns and capacity building schemes for both citizens and businesses to help promote behavior change across sectors. Research and innovation. They can work with universities, innovators, and like startups and other stakeholders to test and scale up new circular solutions. Urban planning and development. Cities can integrate circularity into how they plan and design urban areas. They can encourage compact, mixed-use development, require reuse of materials in construction, and ensure new buildings are adaptable and resource efficient. Waste management. They can establish systems that prioritize waste prevention, reuse, and high-quality recycling. This includes separate collection streams, better infrastructure for sorting waste, and sharing information on available byproducts so they can be used by other industrial actors to support local urban industrial symbiosis. Asset management. Cities can manage public buildings and infrastructure in more circular ways, for example, by sharing underused spaces, designing renovations for flexibility, using secondary materials whenever possible, and even sharing things like furniture or IT equipment among government departments, as shown in the example here from Eskilstuna. And procurement. Cities can lead by example through sustainable procurement to build the market for circular products and services, which can then be procured by other businesses and actors outside of the government. Of course, cities face challenges in implementing these actions. Some may lack financial or human resources or suitable land and infrastructure. Political support and interdepartmental coordination are often difficult. Measuring circularity remains technically complex, and many national regulations still favor linear business models, either implicitly or sometimes explicitly. Overcoming these barriers requires persistence, cross-sector cooperation, and supportive national and EU frameworks, as well as resources like this e-course. So how can cities overcome these challenges? One important initiative in this space is the Circular Cities Declaration. It is a joint commitment by local and regional governments across Europe to accelerate the transition toward a circular economy. Signatories share knowledge, report on their progress, and demonstrate leadership in the European arena, showing that circular transformation is already happening at the local level and providing examples that other cities can draw on. In conclusion, the circular economy offers cities a framework for addressing climate, resource, and social challenges together, including in the transportation sector, as you will learn later on. Through strategic action, collaboration, and shared learning, urban areas can become powerful drivers of circular transformation. Thank you very much, and best wishes for the rest of your learning.